Well, hello to all of my Play Cousins family. It is Auntie Michelle, and you are on Black Book Joy today. I'm so excited to be with you, and you may tell again that my environment has changed a little bit. Remember that word? We learned that last year. Last week, all the things that surround us, both living and non living, make up our environment. And so I've had some different environments, and today, I've got a green environment. I wonder what you think that green environment will have something to do with. I hope that you see green as something that we see outside. And I hope you think about green and you think about gardening. How many of you have your own garden out there? Well, today we're going to learn about gardening with a very special book. Our book today is going to be called From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. From Seed to Plant. And just for you, I made this green background today. We're also going to do a wonderful craft that has something to do with what might come out of a garden. So again, as we learn about our environment and the things that we're surrounded by, and we learn a lot of times in our neighborhood, we don't have a lot of places to go to get really good fruits and vegetables. So sometimes we grow them ourselves, or our other family or friends grow plants and vegetables that we can eat, and they allow us to take some. Sometimes they allow us to buy some. So today we're going to talk about maybe you creating your own garden, and we're going to do that by reading From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. So let's go along for the ride. Here we go. From Seed to Plant. Squash, tomato, violet, tulip, daisy. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. A seed is the beginning of a new plant. Seeds are different shapes and sizes. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So if it is a sunflower seed, it's going to grow into a sunflower plant. If it's an acorn, it's going to grow into an oak tree. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. The apple tree and the dandelion. A flower is made up of many parts. The petal, the sticky part at the top of the pistil, is the stigma. In the center of the flower is the pistil. Stamens make yellow powder called pollen, and the parts of the flower around the pistils are the stamens. At the bottom of the pistil are tiny egg cells called ovals, and sepals and stem, all of the parts of a flower. Wow, look at that creation. That's incredible from one flower. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of the flower like itself. This is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. The wind is important in pollination. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their own sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. Look at those pictures. Ooh. If a pollen grain and a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into the oval. This is the beginning of a seed. The seeds grow inside the flower, even as the flower begins to die. As the seed becomes bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. Wow. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Some seeds fall on the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. It's fascinating to learn all the information about seeds and plants. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. Other seeds fall into streams and pods and rivers or even the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along a shore. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes, and others have wings that spin as they fall. These are all over my backyard right now, maybe yours too. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground, and some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes, and later they drop off onto the ground. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the garden. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes, and directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in the water and minerals from the soil for food. Up grows the shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot toward the sun. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight and the air all around the plant. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where each new seed will grow. Buds. Many of the foods that people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition and vitamins and minerals, and they're tasty too. A seed from a seed to plant project. I'm going to show this picture on the screen, and I'm going to encourage you, all of my play cousins and all of my family, to use something very powerful during today's lesson. I want you to use the power of pause when you're reading this story, because this book is not a book that's just for fun or information, but because we're learning something from our book, it's important that we push pause on our computer or on our television or our phone, however we're listening to today's information, so that we can really understand each and every page, especially when you get to From Seed to Plant Project, because I know many of you will want to do that. We are caring for our plants and learning about seeds in our book From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. So I hope you heard something in our book today that makes you excited about trying out in your own garden anything that you'd like to experiment with growing. There are so many different things to grow. Now, one of the things that I've never grown, but I think would be awesome, and I'm hoping somebody out there has and will invite me to taste one of them when they're finished, is a watermelon. I love watermelon. And today we are actually going to make a watermelon craft. We're going to do that because watermelons start from a seed that is planted in the ground. And for today's craft, here's what you need. We're going to use a paper plate, crayons. Now, you haven't seen me use crayons. I've used a lot of markers and paint, but crayons. I don't have a tongue depressor or a popsicle stick, but I've got a pipe cleaner left over from a couple weeks ago that I'm going to use. And I've got some tape that I'm going to use. So with that, we are going to make a watermelon fan because when you're working in your garden, you sure can get hot. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to take our paper plate and we're going to cut it in half. Now, because I like my lines to be straight when I'm cutting my paper, I'm going to fold it in half first so that I know exactly where to cut. When I open it back up, I'm going to cut straight on that folded line that I can still see, because even though I didn't write or draw that line, the imprint that it made when I folded it in half is still clear for me to see. And there I have it, the side that I'm going to use for my watermelon fan. There's the side. And the next thing I'm going to do for my watermelon is I'm actually going to color it. I'm going to make it 2 different colors. And if it's a watermelon, what colors do you think I'll use? If you said red, you are right. And give me one more color that I can use. If you said green, you are right also. So red and green, but we're going to start with the red. And it's kind of a pinkish red, I think. As a matter of fact, well, it's called red, but it looks pinkish red. So the inside of my circle, I'm going to color pink. And I'm going to put it on my green garden background so you can see as I color. And I'm just going back and forth. You can do the same. Just the end part of that circle on my paper plate. Seed to plant. We learned all the parts of the seed. We learned about pollination and germination. I bet you can put those songs together in a rap, like pollination, germination. Now we go from seed to garden. That didn't sound like a rap, I know, but you know, we try. I'm going back and forth to make my juicy watermelon. Watermelon gotta be juicy and sweet. I don't know about you, if you've ever had a watermelon that's not sweet. My daddy he loves watermelon, but when he gets a watermelon that's not sweet, he will take it back to the store. Yes, he will. He will say, I don't know where y'all got this watermelon from, but it does not taste sweet at all. And they always take it back, which surprises me. It means you got to stand up for yourself. There's our red. You can see it from here. I like that. Now we're going to use our green for our watermelon. Can you say green? Yes, you can. And now I'm going to paint green all around the sides. Auntie Michelle's just going around the sides with the green. Using my green crayon. And we know that watermelons are planted in the ground. And if you are blessed enough, if you are lucky enough, fortunate enough to have somebody who you know who grows watermelons, please let me know. Because I would love to taste a watermelon that comes out of somebody's garden that I know. All the way around. Look at that. That looks cool. We keep going. Keep going. Keep going. We're almost there. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you. And you are perfect just as you are, even your coloring. All right, I've got red and green for my watermelon. Does that look like a watermelon to you? You know what's missing. It was in that book. You know what's missing. Come on, what is it? I can't hear you. If you said the seeds and the watermelon, you are right. Now, some people eat seedless watermelons, what I think is so peculiar, because I've always known watermelons to have seeds. Now, when I was little, I used to think that if you ate the seed of a watermelon, your stomach would grow a watermelon, and you look like you were pregnant walking around with a baby in your belly. But I learned that's not true. But I wouldn't try it if I was you. But we need to put some seeds on our watermelon. Seeds on our watermelon. Oh my goodness. Makes me want one just looking. How about you? Makes me want one just by looking. Oh yeah. Those are showing up. I can tell. Soon as you add the seeds, which are like rounded bottom triangles for a watermelon. Some big one. Soon as you add the seeds, everybody knows it's a watermelon. Soon as you add the seeds, everybody's like, oh, that's what she was drawing. I didn't know. Well, yeah, now I do. There's my last one. Seeds on my watermelon. Seeds that grow from my garden. And now, because it's going to be a fan, I'm going to take my popsicle sticks and I am going to tape them to the back of my fan. Because I don't have a popsicle sticks. And they're not, pipe cleaners aren't the sturdiest of things, but sometimes you just kind of improvise. You kind of use your imagination. Remember we talked about imagination? You use your imagination. So there's my popsicle stick. And there's my tape. And I tape my popsicle stick to the back. And now I have a fan. I made a watermelon fan that I can use in my garden in the hot, hot sun on any day when I'm learning how to take seeds to plant. This was our story today on Black Book Joy. This was our craft. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved being with my play cousins, and I love you. Until next time, see you next week, everybody. And don't forget, if you know somebody with watermelon, give me a call.